Coming up on the CHGO Cubs Podcast, presented by Toyota and Bet365, the Carson Kelly game. How about that? A lead they couldn't blow. The Cubs blow out the A's like they were a AAA team playing at a AAA ballpark. It's breakfast with the boys and the sickos next. Hey, Chicago, what do you say? This is the CHGO Cubs postgame show podcast driven by Toyota. Let's go places and Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Use the code CHGO365 at sign up. You want to talk about something that wasn't ordinary? How about this Cubs game tonight in Sacramento, of all places? If you want something weird.
What was more unlikely, the Carson Kelly cycle or the game being delayed by a drone? What was more
the
likely?
drone thing's going to happen a lot more often, right?
I've never seen anything like the drone before. Like delay a game?
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Cubs pile up 18 runs. We get our first cycle since I was in high school. That's how long ago it was. I was in high school. No, I wasn't. I was in college.
I was 2 years old.
I was in college. But unbelievable. The Carson Kelly game. Never thought I'd see it. Never thought I'd see the day where I was excited to be up at 12:25 in the morning talking Cubs baseball from my basement. But here we are. We are.
The entire time, especially after they batted around consecutive innings. I was like, Luke Stuckmeyer is at home and he hates life right now. he's rooting for like first pitch ground outs at this point. He's begging. He's absolutely begging for some quick outs here. And it just continued to go slower and slower and slower.
It could have been worse, Cody. It could have been the other way around. This team could have gone into a slumber after yesterday's blown game against the Diamondbacks, where they blow a 4-run lead late in the game and could have let it carry over. But I asked on the postgame show, I said, you got to flush this. If you're the players, you got to flush it and move on to Sacramento and go play in a AAA ballpark and see how it goes. And credit to the Cubs, they did all of that and more. You know, like the offense was incredible. 4 home runs. Tucker's hit a home run now in 3 straight games. Swanson's hitting back-to-back games. But let's talk Carson Kelly. And first of all, shout out to everybody in the live YouTube chat on the new CHGO Cubs YouTube channel. We appreciate that. Make sure you subscribe. We're like 90 away from 1,500, and then we'll drop the new merch shirt and make that available once we get there. So thanks to everybody that has already subscribed. We haven't even been up a week yet, and lots of people going there. If you're watching this or listening to this, and you're saying, well, last time I watched was the CHGO Sports YouTube page, make sure you subscribe to the CHGO Cubs one. It's all Cubs content. It's allowed Cody and I to kind of spread our wings a little bit, do strictly Cubs stuff, and make sure you're getting to see the stuff that we're putting out there. I mean, Carson Kelly, I don't even know what to say. He was great, man. You know,
Yeah.
He was great. The first cycle since May 9th, 1993. Grace did it against the Padres. He had the homer. He almost had 2 homers, right? Mm-hmm. The double that went off just the very top of the wall would have taken away his cycle. But, you know, good things happen to people that wait. And when he hit it and the outfielder started running away, I'm like, he's going to get it. He's going to get the first cycle.
Let's also just add that he's from Chicagoland. So, you know, that makes it a little bit better, I think, too. Like, it's going to be a great trivia question answer down the road. You know, you get 10 years down the road and the Cubs don't have a cycle for 10 years.
Yes.
Carson Kelly, the last cycle for the Chicago Cubs. So, yeah, the homer he hit in that first or second at bat was an absolute rocket.
Yeah.
And then he had a big 2 RBI single after the A's had scored and got it to within 2 runs. And knowing how this bullpen had been pitching, it was actually like a really big moment when he did that. And then just like the 5th and 6th inning, it was just so like you couldn't get a Chicago Cub out. So, the floodgates really opened in a big way. And he was a big catalyst for it. The bottom of the lineup was really awesome tonight. The entire lineup was awesome tonight.
Yeah, 21 hits.
Yeah, so yeah, it was when they talk about the historic first game at what was it, Sutter Health Park?
Yeah, something like that.
When they talk about
the
historic first major league game there, they'll have to talk about the Carson Kelly cycle and 21 hits and 18-3 Cubs win.
Carson Kelly finishes not only with the first Cubs cycle since 93, he was 4 for 4, 2 walks, 5 RBI. And obviously we know that he's a really good defensive catcher. I will say this before I commend the Cubs offense for doing everything they did in this game. Cubs catcher, I don't like to overreact. We tried not to overreact to the bullpen thing. We did a little bit after the loss because it was so disappointing on Sunday, but it does look like they've made improvements at catcher. If Amaya can play the way he's been, like Amaya's off to a good start. I'm not saying Carson Kelly's going to hit for a cycle, but I think he's definitely an upgrade. And we said that even kind of in our season preview stuff, like they seem to have at least made an incremental upgrade at catcher. Let's see. Who do we have here in the live? Oh, Sean Caselli up late with us.
Caselli's here. Rhonda's here. I see Bobby Blanco's here.
Patrick Norton up in the morning.
Breakfast with some normal Vanilla Chill is in here. Dustin, DFW Susie. Yeah, we got some real sickos in here tonight. So
people think that I might be a hologram or I might be AI.
No, it's really me. No one believes you're awake right now. That's why. We do have a super chat if you want to go to it.
Oh, where's the super chat? I didn't see it. Let me see if
I think it's from Corey. Yeah, Corey.
I know the game's over, but I'm still not 100% sure the A's are out of this. 2025 Cubs have an incredible knack for blowing leads. $5 from Corey. Thanks, Corey.
Thank you, Corey.
Well, that was the joke, right? That was the joke on Twitter. People were saying, I think this should be enough.
I think.
And then we finally got to see Justin Merriweather after wondering where he was yesterday.
Yeah. I think I tweeted whenever they got to 10 runs, I was like, 10 runs. Perfect night to get Julian Merriweather some action, Craig. And then he actually did get in the game, and then Colin Ray pitched the rest of the way. So, I mean, outside of just the awesome and easy and low-stress win, like, you really preserve your bullpen going into tomorrow. You use Colin Ray in a situation where you really want to be able to use him the most this year. Theoretically, right? Like whether it's in blowout wins like this, or if a starter sucks and you just need someone to come in and eat innings in what's probably going to be a loss, like that's another situation, and he can occasionally spot start for you. So you use Colin Ray in a situation you wanted to. You finally got Merriweather in the game, and he looked pretty sharp. And I thought Ben Brown looked really, really good tonight, and more importantly, really bounced back from his outing in Japan. So I thought pitching wise, they were great tonight. And there's so much to take away from this from the offensive side. Ben Brown, he gave up the 3 runs, and, when he was still in there, it was close, but up until the end, of course. But, you really can dream about that guy with some of the strikeouts he recorded tonight. So, yeah, it's just all across the board. There's no complaints from. I don't think there should be any complaints from anyone tonight.
No, other than it's late, But hey, who's complaining? Not me. We'll talk more about Ben Brown in a second, and then we'll talk about PCA a little bit later in the show as well. Make sure you hit the like button while you're at it. If you're up this late, you might as well hit the like button. Go ahead, give us a thumbs up like Dansby. Boy, that's encouraging to see him with a couple of home runs, and he smoked both of them the last 2 days. And Kyle Tucker's home run, I mean, we will forget that it was against a catcher, but I mean, an absolute no doubt. It was like the wrong person to have up against a position player. That's for sure.
Yeah, 67 miles per hour. Outside of that at bat, he just looked so like there's a reason that he is considered one of the top hitters. Yeah,
he just looks like a superstar.
You can go back years, and if you just show me these handful of Kyle Tucker at bats, and you go like whether it's this era that we've been living in or the core from the World Series team, the only player that I think of when I see Kyle Tucker's at bats that in the last 10 to 15 years is Chris Bryant. Like that's how good this guy is, and that's why the Cubs should do whatever it takes to get this guy to stay in Chicago, because he is a cornerstone. He can be a cornerstone for the next 10 years for your franchise and putting together sustained success. It's really that simple, man. Like that's the big reason why I won. It's not just because you traded Sam Smith to Houston and he was a top prospect. Like this guy is a cornerstone type player. He's displayed it the last 3 games, 3 homers in 3 days. And when he doesn't hit a homer, he gives you incredibly good at bats. He puts the ball in play. He hits the ball in the air. He hits it on a line drive. He can hit it to the opposite field. I mean, on top of it, he'll give you Gold Glove defense. This guy needs to be a Chicago Cub until I'm in my 40s, Luke.
Yeah, but
he needs to be a Chicago Cub for a very long time.
What about all the stress and worry about his bad spring?
Yeah, remember? Did you hear JD say that on the broadcast?
Yeah, well, it's true. Everybody was thinking it, right? Like that's why it means nothing.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I joked all spring that his April was going to be incredibly hot, and he said, "Hold my beer, I'll be hot before April, when the games do matter." And that's what he's been. It's it took him he had that hit in Japan in that like 8th or 9th inning or whatever, and that's all you got. And then for a week we sat here and had discourse about like his disappointing 2 games in Japan, and then just the series in Arizona. It was like he just flipped on the switch, and here he is. You put him in the middle of the lineup and he makes a massive difference, and he's making guys better at the same time in the lineup. Like he is the biggest fear in the lineup for anyone. And we've talked about for a long time before he was here that they didn't have a guy that teams fear in their lineup. And he is absolutely one of those guys. And so he is helping certain guys in this lineup kind of, not necessarily put so much pressure on themselves to be, to produce every single time or whatever it is. And, tonight's an easy way for me to explain it because you scored 18 runs. But I mean, Dansby's 2 homers in 2 games. Bush hit a home run tonight too. And I think Happ has been a catalyst at the top with whether he didn't get any hits tonight. He had 2 walks though.
Yeah, he had 2 walks and he also struck out twice on just horrible calls.
Yeah.
So horrible calls.
Right. And I know Say is off to a little bit of a slow start. He hit the homer yesterday in Arizona.
Yeah.
Tonight. He struck out a handful of times tonight. 3 times, but still 2 hits, 2 for 5, an RBI and a run scored. So, we've seen Seiya Suzuki, kind of carry this lineup at times too. So if he's not getting it going yet, but half the lineup is, like, his time will come, and he will certainly benefit from having Kyle Tucker in front or behind him in the lineup.
Yeah, and I'm sure if he slumps for a month, people will then talk about, well, it's because he's playing DH. But remember, at the end of last season, he was the DH too, and he was great. So
yeah,
I wouldn't read anything into it. It's just a slow start. That's all it is.
Yeah, I don't think it's like Rafael Devers right now in Boston.
No, can't be that bad.
No.
We're going to talk about Ben Brown and the pitching and having to not worry about the bullpen in a second, plus PCA and a look ahead to the next game. But first, we've got a word from some of our great sponsors here at CHGO. Toyota's got 25 vehicles right now available with all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. They have more than any other auto brand. The Chicago winter can be brutal, and sometimes it just never ends, but Toyota helps make it easier. From the sleek Camry all-wheel drive to the Corolla hybrid all-wheel drive, the Toyota Tundra is a truck known for its power, durability, and off-road capabilities, perfect for our weather. If you're headed to a big game, the spacious Grand Highlander is the perfect ride with all-wheel drive to keep you and yours safe. So you bring the action. Toyota's going to bring the traction. Toyota, let's go places. Great time right now to sign up to be a CHGO diehard. Upgrade your fandom today from just fan to diehard and sicko. Get access to our exclusive written content, free t-shirt, plenty of discounts on merch and events, plus access to our Discord. Go to allchgo.com for the latest information on how you can join thousands of CHGO diehards in our community. We can't wait to connect with you on an even greater level. And by the way, this would go down smooth right now. Light beer just got better. Introducing Sam Adams American Light. It's clean. It's crisp. It's super easy to drink. No gimmicks, no fluff. Sam Adams American Light is not your average light beer. It's brewed with 100% American-sourced ingredients from local independent farmers. Light beer that's made right. Not so heavy. You don't have to feel full after 3 sips of your beer. Light beer shouldn't feel like a compromise. And this is an American classic. So smooth, you're going to want to crack open another one. It's always Sam season. Light beer just got better. Grab some Sam Adams American Light right now. Available at select Chicago retailers. Must be 21 and older. Please drink responsibly. Yes.
A few people in the chat have asked. I do have a beer bet here, but I don't have any Sam Adams Light here. So that's kind of the problem.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Well, you have beer.
I do, but I don't have any Sam Adams Light, It's just kind of like the thing.
Boy, you're an honest soul, Cody.
Yeah.
Nobody would have known the difference.
Yeah. I'm just saying I was thinking about perhaps,
not even for the cycle.
Yeah. Well,
I think for the cycle, you could take a mystery beer, a lesser beer, obviously.
Yeah.
And throw a mystery. Just don't show us the can. A lesser beer. You could see if you can get. My guess is after you went 9 seconds with Sam Adams American Light, you're going to use this lesser beer in a beer bat chug after the cycle, and you're going to say, not as good. I feel bloated.
Yeah.
And you'll probably be at like 20 seconds.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things that I've set the standard pretty high already this season. And
right.
I now have to hold myself to that standard. And since, I don't have Sam Adams Light, I'm not going to be able, I don't want to risk it, so.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
but perhaps I'll record a video after the show.
That sounds like a good idea. Well, you could run out to the convenience store and get yourself a Sam Adams American Light. Sure.
By the time this show's over at 1:30 in the morning.
Sure. Something's open. Something's open.
Sure,
something's open. Ben Brown, I agree with you. You said, in the first segment, I thought he looked really good. Mm-hmm. And I think the debate over the third pitch that they were talking about was an interesting conversation during the game. But you can see that he's going to be a guy that's going to strike out. He's going to strike out a lot of guys. He's going to be a starter. And one specific moment in the game impressed me. He gives up the home run, and then he gives up a double. Mm-hmm. Back to back, they hit it hard. And I'm thinking, is this going to be one of those innings that gets away from Ben Brown? Instead, he flipped it around, and that was it. That was it. He shut it down, and he had some wicked pitches the rest of the inning. So I just like the way he bounces back. I like the just like I used to enjoy Wesneski's sort of swagger coming off the mound. Ben Brown's got a little bit of that he's got a little bit of that juice in him. When he gets a strikeout, he knows it. And if he doesn't get the call, he's going to let the umpire know he's not too sure he knows what he's doing.
There was one, I want to say, in either the last inning he pitched or maybe it's the one before, where he located one like right on the inside edge and he didn't get the call. And so he throws that knuckle curve or death ball, whatever you want to call it. And he got him swinging. And it was just absolutely filthy. Like, this is, I talk about PCA and like the ceiling and dreaming about it and what it could be. This guy on the pitching side, he's right. That's my version of PCA is Ben Brown. Like, this guy has so much potential. And I've been thinking about it since those 7 no-hit innings in Milwaukee last year. And, listen, it wasn't like he went 8 shutout innings today or whatever. But it was a great start. They needed a starter to come out and give them good innings today, especially after what the bullpen did yesterday. And so, say the Cubs score all these runs, but Ben Brown sucked. Who knows? Maybe this game's one of those wild, like 18 to 17 games or something like that,
Would have been a disaster.
Right. And not, to be honest with you, we probably would have came on here, and if win or lose, we probably would have just been very frustrated with the entire pitching staff. And so it's good to see your starter who's young and has a lot of potential, and that you think as an organization, and as many of us here in the chat think right now, has a lot of potential to he's your 5 starter right now. But if this team is good and wins 90 games like I think they will, Ben Brown will be a top 3 starter in this rotation by the end of the year, or at least, a guy that you feel really confident pitching in really important innings for you. So the thing about him that sticks out over everyone else in this rotation, outside of, I guess, Shota, because Shota's been awesome to start the year, is he just generates a lot of whiffs. He generates a lot of swing and miss, and he throws harder than any of them as well. And he's just he has a little bit of extra in him than a lot of the other guys in the rotation, in my opinion, in terms of potential. So we'll see. Already interested in seeing what he does next. It's Monday, so he potentially will play the Padres this weekend. Much better team, much better offense, a team that I don't think has even lost a game yet as of this recording. So looking forward to seeing him match up against a team with a much better lineup. But this was a good outing for him in terms of confidence, and who knows, he probably goes deeper in the game if he didn't sit on the bench for 30 minutes at a time.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I thought he might be coming back out, and then they put up the big number, and it was an eternity. I was like, well, they're definitely not bringing him out now.
Yeah.
But you nailed it. You're 100% right. He's different than all the other pitchers in the rotation. If you got to have a different look, you can't just have all contact guys in your rotation. And he does throw harder, and everything about him is different than the other guys. And so it's just nice to have that change of pace. Not that it wouldn't play out of the bullpen, it would, but if you can get more out of him in the rotation, great. And if you can kind of limit some of his innings early in the season, like this, he didn't have to go any further. Great, because we want his best games to be at the end of the season, not just at the front of the season. You mentioned Shota, who's off to a good start, and I noticed our friend of the show, longtime friend Dan Plesac, put out his first DP's top 25 starting pitchers right now for MLB Network, and he went Skubal, Wheeler, Skeens, 1, 2, 3. Did you see where Shota slotted in for Dan Plesac?
I did not.
Shota, number 7 in Major League Baseball. He's got him right now on his list. And this is just for like guys right now, It doesn't mean what they could be or where they're at. He's got Shota number 7, Dylan Cease number 22, and at number 25, another possible future Cub, Sandy Alcantara at 25. So 22-25 right there. And I believe Shota is 1 spot behind Corbin Burns.
Well, listen, I know I've said all off season that I believe in Shota. I think he's surpassed all expectations from last year, but my only real concern with him is, if he's going to give up more homers next year, because maybe the ballpark factors at Wrigley don't necessarily play to him. But, you know, these first 2 appearances, if you go to Japan and then his start in Arizona in that type of ballpark with that type of offense, what he did on Saturday, like, yeah, he deserves to be in the top 10 of Dan Plesac's list whenever he did what he did in Arizona. So Shota just continues to really, I guess, in many ways, just impress and surprise me even. As much as I'm a believer in him and everything, he's basically shutting me up already right now. He's going to pitch on Friday. I think that's how it lines up for him. So, and I'll be at Wrigley, but it's in April, and we know how the park plays in April. So I feel really confident. I think at the end of the day, I just feel really confident with him out there no matter what. And, you know, we'll looking forward to see him go up against that type of offense too. So he already makes himself likable because of his personality. It just helps that he's really good at baseball.
Speaking of which, you mentioned that he is going to pitch on Friday. It's the home opener, obviously, and it's the first of our Friday 120 games.
Mm-hmm.
And we will do a post-game show on Friday after the game. Give us a little time. Give us, 45 minutes, 40 minutes or something after the game to get everything set up to do it. But there's a lot of Friday 120s this year, and there's some pretty good ones on there. We've got the deal also for you on the 25th. Remember, the drawing is coming up on Wednesday. So technically just a day away since we're already into Tuesday. But the deal is go ahead and subscribe to the new CHGO Cubs YouTube channel. Screen grab your subscription. It doesn't cost you anything to do it. Screen grab it, then tag us on social media, and it puts you in the drawing for Wednesday. Wednesday, we will draw somebody's name, and they will win 2 tickets to the Friday 120 game in the bleachers with us, 2 of our Friday 120 t-shirts, a hug from Cody, and a hug for Bragg. So it's 2 tickets, 2 shirts, 2 hugs, and a day full of vibes. Don't miss out on that.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. I'm really excited about Friday. One of the cool things, I know a lot of people on social media like to complain about Marquee, but the one thing about Marquee that I do like is whenever they're coming back from commercial and they always pan these random, shots of Wrigley Field, on a sunny day.
Yeah.
Like right before they come back to the broadcast. It's like its own Marquee commercial, right? And they, this entire spring and leading to the regular season, they've been showing all different ones, I'm assuming from last year. And I'm just thinking about being back in 504 in left field with my guy, my Thai guy, and all the other people who support this show and anyone else who sits in left field that I see every summer. And, it's a real community out there. So I'm really excited to get back to Wrigley and hopefully watch a winning team on Friday.
Yeah, Braggs is going to be there, knee replacement or not. Somebody's going to have to carry him on their shoulders. Not since David Ross is a guy been carried off on shoulders like Greg Braggs.
Yeah,
he's big on that. So, by the way, I'm looking at the forecast right now. 51 on Friday for a high, 45% chance of rain. I don't know when the rain is, but 51's not too bad.
That's not bad.
For early April, that's not the worst.
Since we're in the bleachers, it will actually feel like it's 51. You know how it gets when you're in underneath the overhang, So the rain, hopefully it's not pouring. If it sprinkles a little bit, I'm going to wear a hoodie no matter what, maybe a beanie. It's April at Wrigley, man. I'm just going to expect it to rain. It always rains for the home opener. Always does.
We will tell you about some more deals we have going on in just a bit. And I do want to talk about PCA when we go to this next segment, because I don't know how to describe his start. Like, if people are worried about his slow start at the plate because, he had 2 hits, I think, coming into this game.
Yep.
But the rest of it has been so spectacular. So we'll touch on Pete Crow-Armstrong in a second, and I see we have a super chat before we go to break. Please understand that in the South is a press. I miss y'all dying. Please bring more South bleachers. with this
I'm
team.
so confused, Robert. But thanks
Robert,
for
I
the
don't know what you're
$10.
talking about, but I appreciate the $10.
Yeah, thanks for the $10, Robert.
It could be because I don't have my readers on, but I just
I didn't understand it either. BT Gold 342 $4.99. Cody, if you do a chug with a lesser beer, I will put an asterisk next to it so does not hurt average if it is bad. Are you the one who runs the Twitter account, BT Gold? That's my question to that. Perhaps like I can get it ready while we do the ads if you want to read them instead of me reading one of these.
Yeah. What do we? Let me see what we got here. I'll do the first one, Cody.
Okay.
Let's take a word from our sponsors real quick. Then we're going to talk PCA.
Read it slow.
Life's been a little crazy lately. Yeah, maybe the hours at work are a little bizarre. Maybe you're working at 5 a.m. Maybe you're working at 1 a.m. Maybe you're working at 2 a.m. Maybe you're working at all of those. Life's been a little crazy. One thing that helps folks unwind, Cornbread Hemp's CBD gummies. Have you been looking for a natural way to relieve your aches and discomfort? The CBD gummies from Cornbread Hemp are formulated to work with your body, not against it. I can attest, I'm not as young as I used to be. But Cornbread Hemp's CBD gummies are a huge piece of a wellness plan. Cornbread Hemp's CBD gummies are made to help you feel better, whether it's stress, discomfort, or just needing a little relaxation. The best part is it comes from the best part of the hemp plant, the flower, for the purest and most potent CBD, formulated to help relieve discomfort, stress, and sleeplessness. Organic, vegan, and gluten-free. Made with full spectrum CBD for maximum potency. Right now, they're offering CHGO listeners 30% off your first order. Just visit cornbreadhemp.com/CHGO. Use that code CHGO at checkout. That's cornbreadhemp.com/CHGO. Use the code CHGO for 30% off your first order. This is the good life.
I just cracked the lesser beer and it kind of it was real fizzy, just came pouring out. And yeah, so that's why it's a lesser beer. But Lucy Nicotine. Luke, I always ask you this.
Right.
What's your favorite flavor of Lucy Nicotine?
All of them.
Absolutely. Cody. Every single one of them.
All of them.
They have all kinds of different flavors. They have strengths, Me personally, I don't need something that's super strong. It gets me through the day with one of the lesser ones. And, some of us are just built different. I don't use a lot of nicotine. So the not as strong strength is usually what I go with. So it all just kind of depends on how much you use it. Right. But it's in many ways a much better way of nicotine intake than other ones that are out there, right? So you too can get on that when you level up with nicotine with Lucy, all right? Go to lucy.co/CHGO and use promo code CHGO 2025 and get 20% off your first order. Lucy has a 30-day refund policy. If you change your mind, if you don't like it, you can change your mind within 30 days, you can get your money back, all right? So again, go to lucy.co and use code CHGO 2025 to get 20% off. Here comes the fine print. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning: this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Luke.
Yep. We've got an ALLCITY home opener promotion we wanted to tell you about right now. We've got some links on our social media. Place a $25 or more order on some of our merch, and then you click on the link and you wager whether the Cubs are going to win or lose against the Padres on Friday. In the link provided, you have to use that link. If you're right about that Cubs win or Cubs loss in your prediction, you get a gift card for the same value, 100% as the purchase you made. So if you spent $25 on merch, you'd get a $25 gift card along with your merch. So pretty good deal right now. I know we have put it up on Instagram, correct?
Yeah. And the link should take you to our website, and there's so much more information there too. I'm assuming it's in the description of the podcast too.
Yeah.
So it's a really great deal. You buy some merch and then you get, you basically get
double down
at the same time. Yeah, double down, So Shota's pitching on Friday. I feel good about the Cubs winning on Friday as we speak here at 1 a.m. on Tuesday morning. Luke?
Believe me, I know. Dustin says for $19.99. Look at this super chat. Man of my word. Beer bat is worth it. I'm going to be at Wrigley 4-8 and 4-9. First time ever. Who else is going to be there?
I'll be there. Braggs would be there. 4-9 as well. Nice.
Yeah, 4-8 and 4-9. And Robert with another super chat. We will win. Just be honest. What do we have to do? Luke, make a call. Please, Cody, please come after.
After wars. I mean, what are these super chats after dark are just like, what? Like,
stay up late with CHGO Cubs.
Robert,
this is why we have our own channel for
Robert's. This is more of a compliment because during the real dark days of Cubs baseball, during this era at least, which was more like 2022, we'd be doing late nights. And then I haven't seen him in a while in here, but you remember Ravi? Ravi he was for sure, like, he was the one always sending those types of chats, and we knew he had some cornbread hemp before he came and watched the show.
Well, he's always relaxed, always very very relaxed. So you are going to do a beer bat chug?
Yeah, we can do it right now.
I mean, I don't know who you have to do it for the cycle, but you could do one. You could do 7 chugs. There's at least 7 stars of this game, but I'm assuming the dedication is Carson.
It's definitely to Carson Kelly.
Okay,
I'll admit that, like I said, when I cracked it, it just went like it literally just overflowed. Like it's like I shook it, even though I didn't shake it. I don't know why it did what it did, but so it does. It's usually around here.
Yeah.
But, it's not. So, yeah. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
Oh, flip it. There we go. Just Cody on this one, Sarah. Yeah. Just Cody. Hold on. Oh, wait. I don't have my stopwatch ready. Hold on.
Stopwatch.
Hold on.
This is great audio. Great audio.
Sorry to all the
we got some seconds in the chat. Sean says 6.9 seconds. Dustin 9.3. Okay.
If you're new to the station, Dustin's calling 9.3 at what was like 9.2 the first time around. You ready? When the beer hits his lips, I start the clock. And Cody Delmendo has started a beer bat chug in honor of Carson Kelly, the first cycle since 1993, and boom, I stopped it prematurely at 841, but that was not as clearly not as much beer as the last time.
Yeah. And again, largely because it just overflowed out of the can.
It was so foamy. So foamy.
Yeah.
But I'll give you this. It was a quality chug.
Listen, like I said, if it wouldn't have been a lesser beer, it wouldn't have done what it did. So, but y'all wanted it, so I did it,
Not the size of the bat pour. It's how you chug it. That's right. He didn't spit it up. That's for sure. That's always a key.
Shout out to Kimberly in the chat. She says, loving the podcast, could listen to you guys all day. Hell yeah, Kimberly. I appreciate that.
Well, you got a good start because we've been on for the first 31 minutes of the day.
Yeah, you're starting your Tuesday off great.
Start your day with CHGO Cubs. So I mentioned kind of before we went to break that I wanted to talk Pete Crow-Armstrong. I know he had like 2 hits going into this game, and I've heard some people and seen some people on Twitter talking about, they're a little bit worried about the start. I think while the at-bats yesterday, and by yesterday I mean Sunday, were not good, everything else has been spectacular. And now I've seen for the second time his speed where he beats the force play at second. And teams are going to have to adjust to that. I don't know how they don't have it in their scouting report yet, but even more so, I loved the just kind of soft single that looked as routine as a base hit could possibly be.
Yeah.
And he's at second base.
Right.
He's at second base because, and I'll be honest with you, he was at second base, and I don't even think he was going full throttle until he hit the bag at first and was like, this guy's going too slow.
Yeah, he just took advantage of them being lazy.
I don't know if he baited the outfielder, you know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't flying out of the box. It wasn't like he left the batter's box and was like, this is a double, this is a double, this is a double. He went quickly. He's fast, so he gets to first base, but any hesitation and boom, then it's like he's shot out of a cannon and he gets the second. You know, he had a couple of hits in this game, and I just love the energy.
Yeah.
Everything about it is contagious.
Right. Tyler in the chat says, I was hoping coming into the season that PCA would try to go the other way more, but he's clearly not changed his approach and is going to try and pull everything. You know, it's a very small sample size, but one of the hits he does have this year, he did take the other way in Arizona on Friday for the double that he hit that drove in one of the few runs that they scored. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing about PCA right now, at least, is that there was no way he was going to come in the season and hit like he did in August last year. Like what he did in August was insane. He hit like 350 in August last year. You know, like I think he could have months like that, but I just don't think there's ever going to be a consistent 300 hitter in that bat. So how is he going to make himself valuable? The base running that he did today, right? When he does get on base, the speed that he displays that puts pressure on your defense, and the things that I like that I think that he can keep doing, or that I'm happy to see doing. You mentioned the hits. He walked today too.
Yeah.
And he walked the other day as well. And I think if he walks more, that's almost a double as well. If there's no one on base and he walks.
Cody, that's what Justin Turner told him. They told us on the broadcast. And now he's going to think about it more often.
Yeah. So, I mean, when I've watched some of his at-bats, I'll say this, on Sunday, his at-bats on Sunday were not good. He popped out like 2 or 3 times and he struck out, I think, in that game. He didn't necessarily make a big impact in that game. And, you know, there were other reasons why they lost that game, obviously, right? Like the bullpen and everything. So even though he didn't have a good game at the plate, he wasn't the reason they lost. You know, the night before, he had the huge throw from center field to third base to throw out Naylor. The Friday, I just mentioned the double, he hit the opposite way. He's making an impact on the game one way or another, whether it's with the bat or it's the defense, the base running, the speed, all of that. And like, that's what makes him valuable. You know, it's like when you talk about guys who are DHing or, you know, guys who just hit. When those certain guys are not hitting, then they're not valuable at all. PCA is a guy, he's kind of unique in a way that, you know, he's not going to get a hit every single day. So how is he helping you win? Is it because he's, you know, playing great outfield defense? Did he beat out a ground ball to get on base and then maybe steal a bag and find a way scoring a run to give them the lead? Something like that. Like, he can make an impact in the game, whether he gets a hit or not. But if this guy hits for a league average, he is what we're hoping or dreaming that he can be. And that's why I dream so much, because he just does so many things. He has so many tools that shows value. And, you know, today he had a much better day at the plate, and that's a good sign. And I love to see him walk. I really do. I really like seeing him walk more than I would like to see him hit a homer or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, his 1,500 OPS in the spring training, I knew that wasn't going to be anything like that in regular season. But would I like to see him have a 750 OPS? Yeah, I would like to see him have a 750 OPS by the end of the year. I think that's an achievable goal for him. Anywhere between a 700 and a 750 OPS in his first full year in the majors with the elite defense that he has, I'll take that. I would.
You know who would love PCA? Not that Craig Counsell doesn't love him, but wouldn't Joe Madden love the Respect 90? Remember the Respect 90? He wanted you to run hard, the bases all the time. Keep in mind, when he's getting the force play and beating the force play at second, and I'm sitting at home going, oh, now we got to have a delay and we got to have a review and all this stuff. Even I wasn't really angry, because it was just so impressive that this guy was just going 100%, and it was like a 12-run game.
Yeah.
You know, and I love that energy. He wasn't giving anything up. And that's exactly the way I want my team to play after they blow a game late on Friday where they could have won 3 out of 4, or Sunday after they could have won 3 of 4 against the Diamondbacks. That's the type of attitude I want to see them have when they're up by 10 runs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Foot on the gas all the time and just keep going. Same thing with Tucker hitting the home run. You know, he was like, well, if you're going to give me a free home run, I guess I'll take it.
You're gonna just lob 67 miles per hour.
I'll take it.
You know, I'll take it and, you know, add to the checkbook in December, you know.
We're going to talk about the rest of the series coming up here against the A's in just a second. But first, a word from our great sponsors here at CHGO Cubs. No matter what the outdoor activities are that you prefer, it's always important to have the best view. Right On Optics offers a full range of optics products so you can see clearly. Everybody could use a good pair of binoculars. Better views at your kids' sporting events, maybe spotting birds and other wildlife that are nearby in your yard. Bring him to the ballpark, Friday 120 Club. Maybe you can't see a Brown Braggs with his crutches and everything in the way. All you got to do is stand up and use your Right On Optics. They offer high performance at a lower price, the perfect balance of performance and value, and they won't break the bank. Right On Optics has been around for over a decade. Every product receives a full quality control inspection. Get a better look at everything. Quality products you know you can trust. So check out the full line of Right On products today at rightonoptics.com/CHGO. That's RITON optics.com/CHGO.
Get more power to you doing Dodge Performance Days at Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram. Now is your chance to score a great deal on your next vehicle. Head to Ray CDJR on Route 12 today to choose from their huge inventory of new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram vehicles. And right now, lease the new 2024 Dodge Charger Daytona for only $259 a month, or get 0% financing for 72 months. Plus, shop over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. With a friendly team of brand experts, the team at Ray CDJR is here to help you during each step of your car shopping journey. Plus, since they prioritize affordability, you know you won't overpay for the vehicle you need. And with Ray's price promise, you can shop confidently with no add-ons or hidden fees ever. The price you see is the price you pay. It's that simple. No bait and switch, Luke Stuckmeyer.
Nope,
all right,
don't like
go
it.
check out your partner today to shop one of Chicago area's largest inventories. Find the right new vehicle for you, then drive home happy. The team at Ray CDJR is the only one we recommend. Don't miss out on Dodge Performance Days going on all month long for low lease and financing rates on the new 2024 Dodge Charger. For more information, visit Ray CDJR today on Route 12 in Fox Lake or online at raycdjr.com. They've been serving the community since 1963.
You would never know that Cody was reading that at 1:10 in the morning.
You never would have known.
Professional, as alert, crystal clear as you'd ever hear him.
We got some super chats here.
Super chats.
BT Goal 342. I do run the account. The new tweet is up. Credit to you, Cody, man of the people. All right. BT Goal is the guy who runs a Twitter account about the beer bats.
Oh, gotcha. All right. Now that makes sense. Robert's firing these at us. He says, just say hell yeah, Cubs for $2. All right.
Hell yeah, Cubs.
All right. And then again, stop being so obtuse. He kicks ass in Texas.
In Texas? Texas? I don't know. Are we talking about PCA here, Robert? I don't know.
Edward says he needs binoculars for his friend when we golf.
Okay.
It's like a spray hitter. Listen, you can use the Right On Optics anywhere. That's the beauty of it.
Jepper, I can't say Cody not slurring his words at 1 in the morning and after a beer bat. What a pro.
That's right.
You know, it takes a lot of practice. You gotta be in the zone for an hour.
Robert, we're gonna just spend the next 10 minutes just reading super chats from Robert. Thank goodness for this new CHGO Cubs YouTube channel.
I know.
Let's get an account going in the ATX. I don't know what that means.
That's the thing about Robert's super chats is I just don't understand what he's talking
I know.
about.
I could be saying stuff that's totally inappropriate, but as long as Robert gives us the $5, I say it.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, what was our Call Your Cub tonight? We did for the series, right?
Right. Mine was Nico Hoerner.
And mine was Tucker. And
Yep.
who did Kevin pick? Nico?
No, I took Nico.
You took Nico. So who did Kevin Wells take?
I don't remember.
Well, it doesn't count then. If we don't remember it, it doesn't count.
He'll be in Wednesday to remind us.
He'll be in Wednesday.
But I thought the point just
Kevin
goes
picked
for like
PCA according to Sarah.
Okay. I thought that the point just goes for whoever has the best series.
It is. So right now, Kyle Tucker,
you'd be leading with Kyle.
I'd be leading, but anything could happen.
Yeah. Well, Hoerner, we haven't talked about Hoerner at all, but 3 hits, 2 runs, an RBI, and a walk.
Some nice plays at second.
He's the defense, like he doesn't look like he didn't have a spring training. It's crazy to me. We sit every year. Like, remember, if it wasn't last year, it was the year before. Seiya got the oblique injury, right?
Yeah.
In the spring. And then he came back in the middle of April, and you remember how he struggled for like a month and a half after he came back. And we were all like, well, he didn't have a spring training. And it's just like Nico Hoerner is out here just being who he is, man. Like it's actually really like impressive. It doesn't feel like he's missed a beat, and he deserves a lot of credit. And I know he's not like a flashy player, and he says all the right things, and he's never going to hit 20 bombs like we all kind of hoped he would 3 years ago, but he's just a really good baseball player who can play elite defense at second base. And he just does all the right things, base running wise, all that stuff. And it's just like, I don't know. I feel like no one's talking about Nico and the fact that he just looks like he's not missing a beat right now. And that torpedo bat is helping him get hits too.
But it can't stop him from swinging out of his shoes. He always swings so hard that when he misses or fouls one off, he's always falling over the plate, right? He's always like leaning forward and falling over the plate. I always think to myself, does he need to get higher spikes? Does he need bigger spikes? Is that worse? What's going on here?
Yeah.
He's using the torpedo, and apparently Dansby has the torpedo, but I don't know that he's used it the last 2 days when he's hit those home runs. It didn't look like it to me.
Yeah.
And I didn't catch who the other player was that Taylor McGregor said was using the torpedo bat. But there's another player on the Cubs. But I don't think Dansby has used it the last 2 days.
It's the torpedo bat conundrum is like, it's so crazy how it's being made into such a big deal.
It's a weird looking bat. That's one thing for sure.
I know we talked about it yesterday, but it's just like, I don't necessarily think it's going to like change a ton of things. Like, it might give the hitter some sort of advantage. It might, but I think I need to see a larger sample size. I need to see a larger sample size to say that it's giving offense more of an advantage. But with pitching these days too, though, it's like, it's not like the offense could use it an advantage, in my opinion. So
yeah, Craig says it's Hap. Hap is the other player that uses it occasionally.
Like probably when he hits righty.
Yeah, and the Cubs were they were kind of ahead of this. They were talking about using it last year in spring training. Isn't that when they first started using it?
Yeah.
And hey, whatever you can do. They should have been using it in the season when the wind was blowing in all those games. They should have broke out a few torpedo bats.
Sounds like it. Who knows?
What's that weather going to be like on Friday? Wind blowing in, wind blowing out. Tomorrow.
Okay. Tomorrow
we don't have a post-game show, but Steele on the mound.
Yeah. No show tomorrow, but Justin Steele pitches tomorrow.
Are you concerned yet? We've kind of said we're not concerned. I'm hoping this is his best start. That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that he's going to get noticeably better in this start,
Mhm.
and that he's. I tell you right now, I still think some of it's got to do with the flu. From what I've heard, he
Perhaps.
had the flu really, really bad.
Well, like I've said the last 2 post games where Steele has started, don't give up home runs.
Yeah,
When he's at his best, he's not giving up home runs. And let's also be honest, the first 2 teams he's faced were the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Arizona Diamondbacks, who led baseball in runs scored last year. You get this Oakland Athletics team that I actually think is kind of good,
yeah.
but that lineup is not the Arizona Diamondbacks or the Los Angeles Dodgers. So I'm expecting the Justin Steele that I know. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the matchups right now, and Luis Urias has the most plate appearances against him, and that's probably back when he was with Milwaukee,
Sure.
hitting .091 in his career against Justin Steele. No one else has more than 4 plate appearances against him. So a lot of these guys haven't seen him. So, Butler and Rooker are the 2 guys in this A's lineup that I'm like a little afraid of. Blade is another one as well. But, at the end of the day, it's all about, are we giving up homers or not? Wilson apparently who hit the homer tonight for the A's, 6th overall pick in the draft 2 years ago. So that's a highly touted prospect of theirs who hit one. So they probably have more than just those 3 guys. But I just think that he took a step forward in his last start compared to what he did in Japan, and now I'm expecting another one. And I would like to not see anyone hit any homers off him.
Please, yeah. Rooker scares me, but I wonder how for the A's. I wonder how long this playing in Sacramento. I mean, they're going to be there for 3 years. I wonder how long this is going to be quaint and fun for the major league players.
I don't necessarily think it's ever going to be fun. Did you see where the media?
It seemed like a pretty fun crowd. I know it was opening day, but despite the fact that they gave up 18 runs, it seemed like a pretty fun atmosphere at the ballpark. It's because it's so intimate, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, my thinking on that.
The running out to go to the bathroom is pretty funny, though.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say to what you're saying is, well, how many times you go to a minor league game and not even really care who wins or loses, or you just have a fun time anyway, right?
Yeah.
I do think that those crowds could get a lot different if the A's aren't good.
Right.
But all I know is that, the way that it's all set up, it's actually kind of crazy how they were able to get it set up to where they can do things. I saw photos online today of where they have the setup for where media can do the press conferences with the manager and stuff post game and pregame and stuff like that. And it's just it looks like a small shed. It's just
I'm saying I'm ready for a home playoff game there. It's going to be amazing.
Right. It's unbelievable that this is what Major League Baseball is. The vibe or whatever for tonight was fine. I saw Bob Nightingale tweet that, they were chanting, sell the team there, and they've been doing that for years with the A's, right? We complain about Tom Ricketts plenty, but I think we can confidently say that his ownership hasn't been nearly as bad as John Fisher's. But yeah, to me, it's really a massive embarrassment on baseball that the A's are playing at a AAA ballpark, a historic franchise like the A's. They honored Ricky Henderson before everything.
I mean, you have to do it. It's just weird that they're doing it in Sacramento,
right? Isn't that sad? And so I'm not saying that they shouldn't have done it. I'm just saying that the state of their organization and how it's being ran and the owner that runs this organization, it's a joke. And I feel bad for their fans because it's not like they're, and no offense to these the fans of these teams, but it's not like the A's are the Marlins or the Rays. Like, people care about the A's. I don't think anyone truly really cares about the Rays or the Marlins. I'm sorry. I just don't. You know, so
unless they're in the World Series.
Right.
And they care about them.
Right. But the A's are a pretty, like, they've been around for a long time, and the fact that they're now playing at this AAA ballpark and they're going to be playing there for 3 years, it's just I would not wish this sort of crap on a fan base. So it's kind of like, I'm kind of happy that the White Sox won 9-0 today. Like, I felt bad for those guys last year, and they've looked kind of good this year. So to start at least, and I'm like, I find myself like kind of happy for them, because it was like they couldn't have endured a worse season last year. But I know as a Bulls fan, like, the owner is terrible. So that's just me, though. I know a lot of fans, especially Cubs fans, not a lot of them like the White Sox. I don't like the White Sox. I'm just, I'm not
Sure.
I don't care. But
2 things I noticed today that made me raise my eyebrows. One, Alexander Canario to the Pirates.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a revenge at bat this year.
But he went over there for cash considerations?
Yeah, cash considerations over to the Pirates. And the other thing that raised my eyebrows, the Brewers gave up 11 more runs today.
It wasn't just the torpedo bats.
This time it was the Royals.
Yeah. Listen, the Cubs aren't perfect, and they got a lot of fixing to do in that bullpen, but man, we're in a much better position than the Brewers right now. And I think the Braves lost again. They could be 0-5 right now.
Yeah, and they had a PED too, didn't they?
Oh yeah, Profar. Yeah.
Yeah. So
if it was up to me, he'd stay in the league. He wouldn't have been suspended. I applaud what he did.
Right. We know.
Steroids were
We know
awesome,
you're pro steroids. We know.
Pro steroids. Bring them back. We have to make torpedo bats to.
I mean, I'm all for steroids when I have a sinus infection. There's no question about that.
Anyway, I think it's a nice way for perspective. The Cubs could be off to a much worse start. And it's nice to see the Brewers are just getting pounded every day. I could give me another game like that tomorrow, Milwaukee. Sign me up, man.
Final thought on the Carson Kelly game. I ask you this: which was more unlikely, Mark Grace the cycle or Carson Kelly the cycle?
It has to be the Carson Kelly cycle.
It's got to be Carson Kelly. Yeah.
Right? Like
his triple, I thought he might have a grabber and die right there trying to get to third base. Like,
right.
He barely made it.
There was only one way he was going to get that triple, and it was if the ball bounced a particular way off the wall, like it did.
The bottom of the wall, and it just shot away from the outfielder.
JJ Bleday did him a favor by playing it the way that he did. And good for him, man. And again, Chicago guy, like, plays for the Cubs now. Grew up a Chicago guy, and he plays for the Cubs now. Couldn't happen to a better guy. And also, just another reminder, the Cubs catching tandem is actually really good. So if the Cubs sit Amaya after he has a 5 RBI game and you play Carson Kelly, you're probably still going to be fine more often than not. Let's just acknowledge that you have a really good catching tandem, at least so far this year. Maybe it changes, but both him and Amaya have been really productive to start the year.
VSP King with the last word says Christian Bethancourt legacy game or Carson Kelly hits for the cycle. We'll leave that up for debate. You can talk about it all morning. You can dream about it as we all go to bed at 1:30 in the morning now.
The Christian Bethancourt legacy game?
The legacy game. Cubs win 18-3. Carson Kelly, the Cubs' first cycle since 1993, and we got to talk about it right here on the new CHGO Cubs YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe. We will see you on Wednesday, which is technically tomorrow.
Yeah.
Until then, thanks for watching and fly the W.
We all silly like the mayor.